This is your ultimate stop for everything sports. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Should I say more? From the NFL, MLB, the NBA to MMA, it's all in here. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Listen now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the GSMC Sports Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I am your host, Jeff Malinoff, and with me is the Damian Wayne to my Bruce Wayne. I give you Mark Souza.
Hey, what did you say? What was my name?
Damian Wayne. You're the son. You're the new Robin.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You could be Dick Grayson if you want. There's multiple Robins. Which one
I
do you want
thought
to be?
you were saying I was Damon Wayans and you were Marlon Wayans for a minute.
Damian Wayne and Bruce Wayne.
Gotcha.
But you can be Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, or Tim Drake. There's other women Robins, so I don't think you want to be them.
So that's Robin's name?
Robins. There's multiple Robins.
Gotcha.
So you can pick.
I'm just trying to learn something new today.
Yeah, the three main ones are Tim Drake, Jason Todd, and Dick Grayson. There's also Damian Wayne. So you have four choices.
Who's the coolest one, in your opinion?
That is a debate, but one of them turns into a murderer, like a killer. He turns into a guy named the Red Hood.
I'm pretty nice.
And the other one turns into a Nightwing, who is a comedy badass. So Dick
I'm
Grayson.
Nightwing.
You're Dick Grayson.
Yeah, Dick Grayson.
Unfortunately, his name is Dick. So when Batman talks to him, he goes, "I'll be right there, Dick." Like he says,
Is his real name Richard? And he goes by
no,
Dick?
he just goes by Dick Grayson.
Oh.
They never say his name is Richard. They just say Dick.
Well, hey, you said he's a comedy badass
he makes
guy.
some. Well, he's not really a comedy guy. He just puts in some quirks here and there, like a regular person. He's just more human than Batman is.
Was it funnier than the beating that the Panthers took last night, or less funny?
Well, that beating is a whole different story.
Yeah.
Speaking of that beating,
What happened?
the Steelers won yesterday.
What the heck happened? We talked about how good of a game it was going to be.
We were both wrong on the score-wise.
We were wrong, like, on pretty much the whole game.
We said it was going to be a close, tight matchup, and boy, were we wrong. Steelers win this game 52-21, but 21 is a very nice number for them because it was 52-14 for the longest time, and it was a garbage touchdown. It meant nothing.
And even Pittsburgh, they could have scored more points.
They put in Dobbs at the end of the game. But here's Roethlisberger's stats, which are borderline perfect. 22 of 25, 328 yards and 5 touchdowns, no interceptions. Sacked once. A 158.3 rating, which is, I don't think that's perfect, but it's close to perfect.
You could arguably say this was the best game that he's ever played, which is kind of crazy. I mean, I know he's had big games
had like
before.
He's had like a 500-yard game before.
Yeah, but I mean, like, efficient-wise, like, Jesus, he threw 3 incompletions.
Probably at a perfect passer rating, yeah.
I mean, he had a touchdown every 6 attempts, and
the perfect is, I think he did hit perfect.
Let's put it this way, Jeff. When you have more touchdowns than you do have incompletions, you had a really good game.
Yeah.
A really good game. That's incredible. So, it was tight early. I mean, it was a good game early, and then Cam Newton threw that ugly pick six. Did you see that?
He
threw it from his own
tried
end
to throw
zone.
a 158.3 is a perfect pass. He had a perfect passer rating, a legitimate perfect passer rating. 158.3. Why is that the perfect number? It seems so specific.
I guess based on the formula of perfection, that's the number it spit out. Who knows? I'm not too much of a
Don't you
math
think like
guy.
200 would make sense or something?
Or 100.
Or just
And
100?
they just have a scale, right?
I don't know. Over 100 sounds better. You know, I had 105 passer rating.
That sounds like an A+.
Yeah. 158.3 is A+++++ infinity.
Yeah, and I mean, like I just said, if you have more touchdowns than incompletions, you're probably going to win the game. You probably had one of the best days of your professional career as a quarterback.
And fantasy football owners were in love.
Yeah, 5 touchdowns and over 300 yards. You'll take that.
35.8 points.
Yeah. He spread the love around, too. 5 different receivers scored touchdowns last night.
Isn't that insane? Like, it wasn't just one guy.
Yeah, you would think.
Jesse James. It was Jesse James. It was Vance McDonald. It was Juju Smith-Schuster. It was Antonio Brown. It was Samuels. Like, seriously, everyone.
You would think that in a game that Roethlisberger threw 5 touchdowns, that one of those top 2 receivers, Juju or Brown, would have at least 2 touchdowns. But no, he spread the love around.
Absolutely. And there was one kind of disappointing thing for the Steelers is James Conner is on concussion protocol at the moment.
Oh, that's okay, because they'll be welcoming back their old running back soon.
Yeah, but it's always tough to lose someone like that because he's been playing phenomenally. And
absolutely.
Him, I know he didn't. He only had 13. He only had 65 yards on 13 carries. He did have a touchdown though, but he's been playing very well. And losing him was, it has to hurt. But it looks like. Did you see Le'Veon Bell's Twitter recently?
I saw that he was tweeting last night during the game, talking about the game.
It doesn't say he's a part of the Steelers organization anymore. He's like released off that from his bio.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I'm not sure.
You know,
what
the
that
internet
means.
Never loses and it never forgets and it always finds out stuff. So I wonder who the person was that noticed that.
It never forgets. It's like the mafia.
I mean, it really doesn't. You see people that put out a tweet, especially if they're famous. And verified accounts.
2002,
yeah.
I know Twitter was around 2002 as a joke,
but I mean, a person will put out a tweet and delete it in 3 or 4 minutes, and it's already been screenshotted 1,000 times. So it's
once you tweet, it never goes away because someone's gonna screenshot that so fast.
It reminds me of Herman Edwards on ESPN when he used to say, "Don't press send." You ever see that segment? Don't press send, text messages,
seriously,
sending nude pics of
but
people.
I only known him for "You played to win the game."
He basically says it in that voice, says "Don't press send" in that exact.
He's right
cadence.
in
Exactly.
all intents and purposes.
But at least Le'Veon, he was sounding pretty positive. It sounds like from his tweets last night. They expect him to be back. I read a report last night that the Steelers have been in contact with him. And they have expressed that they want him back. And that was before last night's game. That was before James Conner got, nicked up, possibly a concussion. So who knows? But the Steelers are rolling, man. Le'Veon Bell just adds. When was the last time they lost? Week 3? They're on a.
It's been a while, definitely.
I think they're on a 5-game winning streak. So maybe it was week 4 or 5 their last time that they lost. But we talked about this yesterday. We talked about the Panthers and the Steelers. Both came in hot. But the Steelers really, I think, put the NFL on notice last night. Would you say that?
Well,
they were a statement game.
It's the Steelers, so people know who they are. They're a legendary team, no doubt about it. But they were struggling at first, so this is definitely new.
They were struggling, and it seems like that was a long time ago now, as they've strung together a lot of good football games this season in a row, pretty much. Do you think that your opinion of them has changed from yesterday afternoon before when we did this show?
Yeah, it has. Totally has.
Okay. So are you saying that they've creeped into the Chiefs-Patriots conversation in the AFC, or
they're knocking on the door? They're knocking on the door.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think so too. We talked about it yesterday, how they've been a team that's always been in the mix over the last decade or so, but they haven't really gotten there. They always seem to fall a little short. Maybe this will be the year that some things change. Who knows? Yeah,
but just I just can't get over how intense this was and how JJ Watt's brother TJ had a great game too.
Him, the Watts are taking over right now.
The Watts are scary. Their kids are going to be monsters.
Would you say if you're a quarterback, you should avoid the Watts, the Watt family on Thanksgiving? Just not go over their house.
Why would you go over to their house?
Well, I mean, if let's say the Watts...
Knock knock. Tom, What are you doing here? Oh, I thought you guys wanted me. No, get out of here. Go to your wife.
Like if Big Ben or Deshaun Watson was invited over to the Watt household for Thanksgiving, would they be like, no, man, there's too many good defensive ends over there. I don't want to get sacked on Thanksgiving, you know?
I could see it happening. Sure, why not?
Those guys are incredible.
Just for the laugh. I can see J.J. Watt doing that just for the laughs.
I think it's pretty cool. We don't usually see like football brothers. You know, we have the Griffins in Seattle, which is a nice story, especially because they play on the same team. But it is cool to see two guys, the Watt family, have two sons in the NFL. And not just in the NFL, Jeff, but like two of the better players, especially defensive players in the league. So it's pretty cool.
They produce pretty good defenses, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. So, I know you talked about it yesterday. The Steelers' defensive stats were actually pretty good considering their early season struggles. They had another really good game last night.
They really stepped it up after that. I feel like after the tie with the Browns in Week 1, something switched.
Yes, for the first 3 or 4 weeks, they were the bottom 3 in the NFL in pass defense. They were getting torched. They got torched by the Browns. They were getting points in yards put up against them. So they put together a nice game yesterday against a strong team, against an offense that had been humming along. Let's shift over our attention to the Panthers. Talk to me about what you saw.
A lot of nothing.
Okay, well, you just said that your opinion for the Steelers might have changed a little bit. Is your opinion on the Panthers changed?
Oh my, yes. If this is how they're going to face playoff type teams,
mm-hmm.
This is not how you want to portray yourselves going into a potential playoff game.
Yeah.
Or this could be one of those times that you see a team just drop. Like, there's always a team that starts off great and then ends very poorly. Maybe it's not the Chiefs. Maybe it's the Panthers this time.
Absolutely. Fortunately for the Panthers, they have a particularly favorable upcoming schedule. Maybe not in terms of home games and away games, but in terms of opponents. They play at the Lions next week. Then they play at home against Seattle. Then they're at Tampa Bay, and then they are at Cleveland. So those are 4 very favorable games.
Yeah, but this is the test, though. Let's see if they could bounce back. If they lose 2 of these games, I'm going to say maybe they won't even make the playoffs.
They finish their last 3 games of the season, Saints, Falcons, Saints. So it would
That's
be
a
wise.
rough last 3 games.
It would be wise for them to not slip up in these upcoming games because they don't want to get in a situation in the last couple weeks where they need a win against the Saints or even the Falcons who are surging right now. So
they need to win these next 4 games.
Did you see the Cam Newton pick 6 though? Where he threw it as he's falling down in the end zone, just throws it up in the air like a 3 flies up, and the guy picks it off and runs it in about 20 yards.
You mean it seemed like he kind of just was oh, screw this, and threw the ball?
Yes. So you did see it?
Yeah, I saw it.
That was a rookie mistake. That was a rookie mistake.
It was basically safety or throw it in the middle of the field instead of out of bounds.
Gee, give up 2 points or 7.
Why didn't you throw it to the right, near the out of bounds markers? Not in the middle of your line?
Yeah, that's
what do we say? If we were there, we probably would get broken bones everywhere.
Well, if that looks like a throw that Josh Rosen or Josh Allen or Sam Darnold or Baker Mayfield makes at this point in their career, not a veteran like Cam Newton, not a guy.
He has been there since 2011.
Yeah, not a guy who's played in a Super Bowl, not a guy who's been in the playoffs.
Not a guy that's been an MVP.
Exactly.
I mean, let's not forget how he played in the Super Bowl. I mean, wasn't the best.
But very true.
And I don't know. This just doesn't seem like this team is playoff capable. I don't see them making it deep around the playoffs.
What about the whole aspect of it was a Thursday night game and it was on the road? So short week on the road. Do you kind of give that some credence?
You know what? Sometimes it's a big, high-profile game, and it's against a team that is now can be in making a playoff run. Who knows? But every game you play a team with a winning record like yours, you've got to step it up. And so they didn't. And that would concern me.
My problem with the Panthers is even though they've been playing well and they've been winning games, their offense is solely based on Cam's legs and Christian McCaffrey. Other than that, I mean, Funchess is their best receiver, and I think he's at best a top 35, top 40 receiver in the NFL. And then you got Greg Olsen, who is a legendary player, especially for the Panthers. But he's older. He's not the young, spry Greg Olsen who could go down the field. He's more of the short, 10-yard pass Greg Olsen, not the guy who's going to run the seam route or run down the field. So their offense, to me, I don't know if they have the offensive capabilities to really make a run in the playoffs. What would you say about that?
I would tend to agree. Just this game showed a lot of negativity.
I mean, can we really think of another offense in the NFL that's good where a Devin Funchess type player is their best wide receiver? Like it just leaves a lot to be desired, and it makes you wonder if Christian McCaffrey's taken away.
All due respect to Funchess.
Well, I mean, he's not a terrible player, but if Christian McCaffrey is taken away, and he had a really good game. McCaffrey had a strong game. He had 3 touchdowns.
McCaffrey had 31 fantasy points. He had all the
3 touchdowns. And he had a
2
good
passing,
game.
1 rushing.
He had a good game, but again, it's one of those games where you look at the box score, and the receiver is just not that involved, like, at all. It's just McCaffrey. Cam will run. Cam will throw every once in a while, but it's really not big plays to the receiver. So
we're also missing a very crucial part of this game, and that's Eric Reed being ejected after that hit to Roethlisberger. Was that a cheap shot to you?
I actually did not see that.
He was making a slide.
I heard that he had got ejected. At that point, I'm not going to lie, I had turned the game off. I was looking into the Warriors game last night. There was also some other pressing things in Northern California.
Well, ironically, before Eric Reed got ejected, he got trucked by James Conner. So
he hit Roethlisberger on a sack, or how did it go?
It was a slide. If I'm not mistaken.
So he scrambled a little bit and he slid, and then the defender went down helmet first or something.
Yeah, I'll see if I can pull up and show you just on.
What was your thoughts? Did you think it was a cheap shot, or did you think it was just like he kind of tried to get away from
with what Eric Reed has been like? He's already gotten a fight in his first game with the Panthers. He's not really caring about his current position with the team, and I think he should be a little more conservative because you're on a brand new team, and because of the fact that you've had some problems with people criticizing you because of your kneel down. Like, you got to be smarter with your decisions on hitting and getting the other team riled up, because you're not going to get re-signed if that's the case. Yeah,
he has been playing well too. Besides that, maybe the controversial stuff, but I saw that he had gotten ejected, so I was kind of wondering.
And the thing was, Roethlisberger was sliding feet first. It wasn't like he was diving, and he did lead with his head. And
it was a frustration.
It did also cause a brawl. And I'll show you the video right now. He might have tried to slow down. It's really hard to tell, but I'll show you it.
Yeah. Okay. So let's see here. Roethlisberger, he scrambles right. And I don't know, man.
If you looked at it, they had a perfect picture of Reed hitting Roethlisberger, and it was helmet to helmet. So
I see. I think the intent was worse than what actually happened, but I understand why the Steelers would be upset about that.
I think that's protecting your quarterback, so I don't blame him. And it looks like he was aiming for him. He just didn't hit him as good.
Right.
Yeah, it wasn't a smart idea.
It might have looked though. I only saw it that one time, but it kind of looked like maybe Eric Reed did hold up a tiny bit though. Like he's in it, he's leading, but then he
was
kind of
leading
doesn't.
As soon as he was sliding, so he was kind of preparing for the slide. It felt like.
Yeah, maybe it kind of looked like maybe he.
I don't know if it was intentional or not, but like as a player in the NFL, and these things happen a lot. And you need to find a lot of money. You got to be a little more careful. And I know that's so cliche saying that because you're not playing in the NFL, you're not playing at the full speed. I get that, but you also got to think about player safety. And,
absolutely.
And concussions are getting so serious nowadays, and there's an it's a very unsettling list of guys that have committed suicide and done these things.
Yeah.
With CTE and this post concussion.
I'm totally fine with them ejecting him for that. I don't know if it was the cheapest shot, I guess you could say. I don't know. I'm not trying to like justify his actions, but it does seem like maybe because of the game situation.
Here's a picture. Maybe that will show you. Like he's leading with his shoulder in that picture, but you could tell he was kind of maybe looking for a big hit, and as he was sliding, he just didn't.
Yeah, it could have been a total frustration type play in that juncture of the game, right? So,
yeah. Well, remember the eyes of Eric Reed when he first got in that fight in the first game of the season, of the season for him. So,
yeah.
Bottom line is, I would say Eric Reed is. I don't think he's going to get re-signed after all these. There's multiple instances with him.
He's been playing well, though. I mean, it does kind of overshadow his performance, which is unfortunate. But what do you say we go to a break?
Sure, let's go to a break. When we get back, we'll talk about some NBA games that have happened, including one of the best team, I guess you could say the best team in the NBA, getting destroyed, and maybe a new NBA team crowned as the best team in the NBA. We'll see right after this.
Are you looking for the very best NFL and college football podcast? Then check out the GSMC Football Podcast. Get the latest football news both on and off the field. From the NFL Draft to trades to the rumor mill to the NFL Combines. They got you covered. That's GSMCpodcast.com/football-podcast. Get updates on college rivalries, game day insights, and much, much more. It's football talk the way you want it. This show eats, sleeps, and breathes football. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
And welcome back to the GSMC Sports Podcast. We just finished talking about the Thursday Night Football.
You almost said Monday Night
I almost said Monday Night, but this was a Thursday Night Football destroying of a team between the Steelers and the Panthers.
It's 2 games in a row that we've seen some duds on Thursday night.
This one was a little more entertaining because 52 points, I believe, is the most anyone scored all season. For one team, at least.
Mm-hmm. That sounds about right.
And we're moving on to the
National
NBA
Basketball Association.
Yes, or the ABAA, the American Dodgeball Association of America. Remember that?
Yeah. If you can,
the American
dodge
Dodgeball
a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
Oh, great movie. Very underrated movie.
What is it? Dodge, dip, dive, something, and dodge.
It's the 5 Ds of dodgeball: dive, duck, dip, dive, and dodge.
Yes. There you go.
The pause at the end was great. He goes, by
Patches O'Houlihan.
Yes. God, if you need to watch a sports movie, watch that. It's a masterpiece of funniness.
That is a very, very good movie.
Yeah. You know another good movie? Basketball. Remember that movie?
Basketball's a really
Basketball
good movie.
I wish that was a real sport. I would play that sport.
It's the South Park guys, Trey Parker, and what's the other one?
They're so funny. I forget his other name, but they're funny guys. And the thing is that idea is good. Baseball and basketball, it makes sense. The premise makes sense.
With the distraction stuff is really funny.
and the doubles and singles by shooting in different areas, it makes sense. But anyways,
absolutely, they have drinking games like that.
I know they should really make that. If that was a sport, I would love.
They have the baseball drinking game. You ever played that where you have the cups in a row and it's a single, double, triple home run?
You mean beer pong?
Well, it's kind of like it. You get it's with the ball, but you line them up and you have 2 teams and you have runs.
Oh, I have played. Oh, that game's fun. I remember
and when you miss, it's an out.
My brother showed me that on a vacation one time, and I was like, "Oh, I love this," because then you can steal and you can chug a beer. You have to steal. Oh, it's so fun. Anyways,
yeah, exactly.
Going back to the
NBA, back to sports.
Yesterday there were highly great games, or highly hyped games, I should say.
I agree.
That turned into duds. But one game that wasn't a dud, Celtics and Suns, was a great game to watch. Celtics were down 22, 25 points in the game. They came back. They were down 22, and they rally back in overtime and cause it to go to overtime and beat the Suns 116-109. Kyrie Irving, 39 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, was the key in helping that team come back.
Mm-hmm.
Gordon Hayward, another kind of disappointing game, 8 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, but he's still getting back from a gruesome leg ankle injury, so I'm not going to give him any guff over that.
Are you worried about him, though?
Not at the moment because of how brutal that injury was. He was out for a whole year.
Yeah, for sure.
So
that was really bad.
If it was like a minor injury and he was struggling like this, I would worry. But it was a major injury.
He couldn't even rehab for months.
Yeah, so it's understandable. Jason Tatum only had 4 points, but there was some other good guys around him, but it was mainly Kyrie Irving carrying the load.
I have a question for you.
Go for it.
We do know that we're going to be patient with Hayward. We want to see him play for a while and get back into it, but. At what point in the season, like how many games into the season, will you start to be actually worried about him and his future in the NBA as it pertains to getting back to an all-star caliber level? At what point in the season will you start getting worried if you haven't seen it yet? Like 30 games, 40 games, even further than that? Or what? It's hard to
35.
say. It's hard to say. I know
Yeah.
I'm asking a tough question, but 35 or so, you'd say if he's not making improvement, then you're kind of like,
God, it's so hard to tell. Once it reaches the playoffs, see how his stats are. I think once you hit the playoffs, then you have to decide if you're going to start him in the playoffs or not.
Yeah, I mean,
Because this team's making the playoffs regardless.
yeah, for sure. It's the East.
That's why I'm saying. That's why it's like you can test him out the entire season. It's like, okay, playoffs are here. Can he contribute to us winning this series? The next series.
I think if we see improvement at 30, 35 games, then it'll be something. But if we're going to see 25 minutes a night and 8 points and 4 rebounds in the 35th game of the season, I would actually start to be worried that he can come back fully from that injury, because we know it was a horrific injury. It wasn't like
it was really hard to watch.
And for basketball players, they don't usually suffer injuries like that. They really don't. So
and the ankle is pretty crucial.
Absolutely. It's a very important joint in the game of basketball. So
yeah. But looking at this game on the Suns side, Booker, another great point game with 38 points and 9 assists. But looking at his stats total, he went 4 of 13 from 3-point land, and he committed 6 turnovers.
yeah,
So he didn't really finish very well, but still 38 points is incredible.
he also played a tough defensive team and he's the one guy, so he has to shoot a lot. Like he has to take a lot.
Well, Warren also had 29 points, so they were really hot at the beginning, but then they just fell apart. And that just reminds you, like, this team has so much potential, but they need so much more work.
So, you want to talk about the game that everybody's talking about last night, though?
The Bucks and Warriors?
Yeah, because that one, talk about a statement.
There were 3 guys on the starting lineup for the Bucks that scored 20 or more points.
What was the final score?
134-111.
In Golden State?
In
Wow.
in Oakland.
Yeah.
Golden State's not a city.
It's in the Golden State, which doesn't really mean a whole lot.
We could say at Oracle Arena, I guess we could say.
So 10-2, the Warriors fall. The Bucks,
Stephen Curry only had 10 points.
he got injured. That's the story.
Granted he did, but still, he played for 26 minutes.
He has a leg injury that he's getting an MRI on today. Are you concerned?
I'm not. If I'm a Warriors fan, I still have Kevin Durant, Klay Thompson. I'm not worried about it.
They're calling it an adductor injury, which is there's a few adductor muscles in your leg, but basically it's a leg in your thigh that's like connected to from your groin to your pelvis. So that doesn't sound fun or comfortable. That's for sure. I'm not too worried about it. Sounds like he should be okay, but they're doing an MRI for precautionary reasons.
Yeah, but again, it's the Warriors. They're fine.
Durant only had 17. That's just it looks like the Warriors just had an off night, if I'm looking at the box.
An off night's an understatement. I mean, they still got 111 points granted, but there was a lot of negativity.
But we got to talk about the Bucks. I mean, they're 9-2 now. They're cruising lately. This is a statement
Giannis
win.
with 24 points, 9 rebounds. Bledsoe, Bledsoe
Total
with
team
26
win.
points.
You look at the box score, and Giannis had a good game, but that's Giannis numbers right there. The other guys really stepped up. Bledsoe, Brogdon, big game.
Brogdon especially, because you don't see him getting 20 points often. And then off the bench, excuse me if I butcher this, but Connaughton,
yes, from
15
Notre
points,
Dame.
4 rebounds. I mean, off the bench, if you get more than 10 points, that's huge.
You just don't expect Bledsoe and Brogdon to outscore Thompson and Curry. You'd never expect
Or
that.
Durant.
Yeah.
The thing is, with Curry went 0 for 4 from the threes that he was shooting, so I don't know what's going on with his injury or how he's going to come back from this, but again, if I'm a Warriors fan, I'm not worrying, and you're making the playoffs even with your bench players.
Let's just say even if he had a partial tear, like it's so early in the season that it won't affect their playoffs. So.
You're fine, Golden State fans. Relax. The wagon's still rolling.
But 134 points by Milwaukee on the road at Golden State to blow out the NBA champs on the road like that. That's a statement win.
2-time defending NBA champs.
That's a statement win. Maybe the best win. And am I going too far to say one of the biggest wins in recent Bucks history? I mean, yeah, they've made the playoffs, but this was like a wow. This is a wow game.
As for
right
a
here.
statement game, I would agree, but I don't know.
They don't have a lot, you know, to go.
Yeah, true, very true. But what I do say is I would love to see these two in the finals. This would be a very fun one to watch.
So I got a question for you.
Go for it.
Is Milwaukee more impressive so far than Toronto in the East? Toronto has one loss.
Well, Toronto beat Milwaukee.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then Milwaukee beat Golden State.
So Toronto's the best team in the league.
Yeah. Is that how it works?
Yeah,
Don't you love
absolutely.
those? You see like
I love playground logic like that.
like
you know,
Browns beat this team. This team beats the Patriots. There we go. Browns are better than the Patriots.
there you go.
So like, if the Kings beat the Bucks, if they did, and the Bucks beat the Warriors, then the Kings would be better than
Then
the
the
Warriors.
Kings would be the linear champion, right?
I guess.
Until they lose to someone and then they take it.
Yeah,
So,
that's how it works. In the
that's how
NBA.
life works.
I wish
people.
I wish that's how the NBA worked. You had the first place seed, and then whoever beats the first place seed gets the first place seed, and then it's like a king of the hill type thing.
Please do not use this logic when arguing sports with your friends.
Good Lord, don't! It's not worth it.
So there's two other games.
Unless you're in elementary school, I would like to see that conversation because it's actually really entertaining.
So the other two games that happened last night, how about we talk about the Rockets scoring 80 points and getting blown out by a Russell Westbrook-less Oklahoma City Thunder? What happened?
They've been Russell Westbrook-less for a while. It feels
And
like
they've been playing well, which is weird. They're on a roll.
I don't understand the world anymore. But yeah, Paul
Seven
George,
straight win, man.
Paul
Seven.
George, 20 points, 11 rebounds. Adams with 19 points, 10 rebounds. Russell Westbrook with 0 points, which is odd. 0 rebounds. I'm just kidding.
You know the OKC started 1-4 and they're 7-4 now. This is crazy. But I think we got.
Wait a minute. The Kings beat the Thunder. Thunder beat the Rockets. I'm kidding.
There you go, man. You
So
can
all the
just-
4 teams that Thunder have lost to are the best teams in the league.
Pretty much. I guess you could say that. How about, I think the story here, though, is the Rockets. We have to talk about it. I mean, they are now 4-6. 80 points, Jeff. This is a team that can score 80 points a night just from threes, and they've done it.
And they scored triple-doubles without thinking.
And they've done that. So what's going on with them? Their offense is just terrible.
Houston, we have a problem.
There you go. Have you been holding on to that one?
No, I just figured that one out just now. I was just
the
like, wait a
light bulb
minute.
went off in your head?
Yeah,
The light bulb-
I was
there
like,
you go.
I got one. I got a good one.
James Harden, 19 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, and you would say that's a good game for a normal player, but we're not talking about a normal player. We're talking about James Harden. That's not a good game for James Harden. He had 19 shots. He had 19 points. That's not a good game for James Harden.
Maybe it's time to shave the beard.
Chris Paul, 10 points in 36 minutes, 2 rebounds.
I love you no-sold my comment there.
It's all good. But what do you think about? Is it Chris Paul and James Harden? Like, These are the leaders of the team. They're not getting it done. That's who you have to look at first. Would I be correct in thinking that?
Yeah, you guys start at the top. You got to look at the top and down because
the top is in the coaching, or the top is in the two best.
The two best players.
Okay.
I mean, the coaching you can only do so much when your players are struggling.
I don't know.
You can't control. I feel like as a coach, you can't control cold streaks. You do your best, but that's up to the player's mindset. No?
Yeah. I mean, Houston had come into the game winning 3 in a row, but they still have been struggling on the offensive end. They struggle again. Carmelo Anthony. The Carmelo Anthony experiment was always going to be a bad experiment, and it's proving that it's a bad experiment.
Didn't he have like 2 points?
1 of 11 shooting last night. He's been a complete disaster as a Houston Rocket. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
I am biased because I hated the move. I thought it was the dumbest thing that the Rockets could have done.
Rockets just wanted a big... It's like Carmelo Anthony's a name now. He's not really a progressive player. He's a big name.
And it's crazy,
and
too.
When you think of the big names, you're like, oh, this team's going to be good with this big name. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's crazy, too, because when you look at the player and you look at the style of play that the Rockets play, that's not Carmelo's game. He's not up and down. He's not a guy that's going to be an efficient three-point shooter. And that's how they play. They play with a lot of threes, a lot of
he kind of
up and
plays
down.
lazy compared to like what
He doesn't defend.
for how the Rockets play offense and how the Rockets play it. Like
It's a bad fit.
They are a quick offensive team. They shoot.
Yep.
They shoot a lot. They play a lot of like movements. Carmelo Anthony doesn't do that.
Carmelo needs to play for a team like Grizzlies, a slow tempo team, a team that goes in the half court every possession. You know, you see what I'm saying there?
I think I do.
Harden and Paul are that's too fast of an offense. You're right in what you were saying there. He needs to play for a team that has a slower tempo. But that marriage is not working, and he's not going to be starting. So he needs to get over it. I don't know what's going to happen there. We need to talk about one more game though, real quick before we go to a break because we are overdue.
Wow.
The Clippers and Blazers. Blazers get another win. They're 9-3. Are you surprised that they're 9-3?
A little bit.
Lillard had 25 points. You know, the Clippers have been playing well, though. 6-5. Not bad. Not bad start to their season. But for the Blazers, 25 points for Lillard, 23 for McCollum. You look at the box score, it's a very Blazers game. I mean, your two guards had over 20 points. You got some contributions from like Nurkic and Aminu. Collins, of course, off the bench had almost a double-double. But Blazers impressive. They go to 9-3. And what do you say we go to a break?
Sure, we can go to break. When we come back, we'll be talking about Week 10 of the NFL season, our predictions for each of the games, and we'll be right back right after this.
Check out the show that's built on the MMA. From the UFC to extreme cage fighting, they got the fights covered. Check out the GSMC MMA podcast. Get the latest news on past or upcoming fights. Join us as we talk to and about some of the biggest names in the MMA, past, present, and future. When it's the fight game, there's just one show to check out. GSMCpodcast.com/MMA-podcast. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
And welcome back to the GSMC Sports Podcast. We just finished talking about the NBA games that happened yesterday. And now we're going on to the NFL Week 10 matchups that are taking place this Sunday. We will talk about the Monday Night Football matchup on Monday. But as of right now, let's talk about the Sunday matchups. Today's Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want me to go first or do you go first?
You can go first, my friend.
Okay, let's go to a not so interesting matchup first. How about that? The Bills and Jets.
Bills and Jets. That's the game of the week.
A 2-7 team versus a 3-6 team.
Yes.
No Sam Darnold prediction. I believe he's questionable, but he was in a
He should play.
He was on crutches, I believe, was the story. And Josh Allen is also questionable.
Oh, they both are expected to actually miss. Allen and Darnold are both expected to sit. Wow.
So there goes that big rookie versus rookie matchup.
We get McCown versus Peterman. Is it Peterman or are they going back to Derek Anderson?
I don't know. But also, the Bills' first-round pick last year, Tremaine Edmonds, is also questionable. So that is a bummer for them. Derek Anderson is out, so I guess it leads to one
Peterman
man
gets another
and
start.
one man only. Nathan Peterman should be starting.
I have a question for you. How the hell does an NFL team, after seeing Nate Peterman start like 3 or 4 NFL games, still roll him out? I don't care if he's the only one left on your roster. How do you not sign someone else and have him start that week? That week. It doesn't even have to be Kaepernick. I know everybody's thinking it.
Josh McCown versus Nathan Peterman.
Oh, God.
Sounds like an Arena Football League matchup.
So who do you got in this game? Let's move on.
Can we just see a 0-0 tie and move on from this?
I got the Jets. Who do you got?
I got the Jets, too.
You have a score?
You hear what happened with Nathan Peterman? And he took his wife to a birthday dinner, and someone threw food at him and was harassed at
Oh,
the
my
restaurant.
God. I saw that they had a GoFundMe, but that failed miserably, too, to get him out.
That's like a running joke. But when you throw food at the man and
That's
you're
jacked
harassing
up.
him
That's jacked
with
up.
his personal life and his wife's there, you are pushing a line that you should not be pushing.
I'm surprised he's married. To be honest with you, I'm surprised she didn't divorce him after seeing how many picks he
a
threw.
little harsh. I mean, you got to go through sickness and health, the hardest good times and bad.
Well, I'm also surprised that when he proposed, the ring didn't get intercepted, and returned to the house. So
Can we not make fun of his family?
I'm
please?
not making fun.
That is mocking his family.
All right, so what's the score? Come on, we got.
The Bills. It's gonna be the Jets winning, probably 18-10.
18-10 Jets. Yeah, I'll say something like 23-10 Jets. So, okay, so let's move on. How about, you want to talk about a more interesting game? Can we do that? How about we go Lions and Bears? Let's go Lions and Bears. Detroit at Chicago. Detroit.
Who's winning? A lion and bear? Oh my! Which one's taking it? What's more deadly, a lion or a bear?
I don't know, man. Who would win that fight? Probably a lion, right?
There's got that happen. That had to have happened at least one time in human history or the world's history.
But they live in different climates, no?
Yes, they live in different areas of the world. I don't think
a lion's in
I don't
the
think
desert,
there's a
safari.
lion in America. Like a lion has a habitated in America,
Unless it's a mountain lion.
and I don't think bears have been around in Africa, where lions are mainly from.
Do.
There's your knowledge for the day. I
said
guess
Africa, so I thought of Toto.
I love that song though.
Yes, I try to get that to be my wedding song, but my wife nixed that. Isn't that messed up?
Why is that your first dance?
I wanted it to be our wedding song, and she was like, absolutely not.
What was the song?
Anyway, so Bears.
Whoa! You got to answer this question. And by the way, your wife. It means more to your wife than it does us. Let's get real.
I forgot. All right, I forgot. But we got married a long time ago.
How long ago?
2 months ago.
Dude, come on, man.
She knows. She picked it.
Well, you gotta know. That's your job. When your anniversary's coming.
But I remember it as Africa Toto is our song. So that's how I remember it. That song was also played at our wedding because it was the most requested song because everyone knew that it was a running joke.
Why was it a running? Wait, is it like you guys met and Toto was playing?
No,
Africa
because she had asked me for a long time, what should our wedding song be? And I didn't know. And then one day I was like, Toto Africa. And she was
kept
like,
persisting
she said, you are an idiot. And then I told the world, via social media that was going to be our wedding song. So,
did that piss her off?
No, she was she thought it was funny.
Oh, I don't know. I feel like a wife would be a little angry. Like,
But we have gotten way off track.
I'm sorry.
Lions
Yep.
at Chicago.
Mrs. Souza, please don't be mad at your husband.
It's so weird when people say Miss Susan because that's been my mom my whole life, and now it's
now it's her.
Yeah.
Well, just play that song when he gets home from work, okay?
Dude, that song can never get old. Anyways,
No, not Toto, like the wedding song.
Oh,
That's your actual wedding song.
man,
so
now
you
I'm
know.
in trouble. That sucks. All right,
It's not my fault. It's your fault.
so Chicago, Detroit. Give me the winner. Let's go.
Chicago.
All right, score.
Give me 21-17.
21-17. I also like the Bears. I just can't see the Lions winning on the road.
And I can't see them beating a good team in the Bears. Bears are still making the playoffs, in my opinion.
I got Bears 27-17. All right.
I still think they could take the North.
They could. They would have to win this game for sure, but they could. What game would you like to talk about?
Let's go Saints and Bengals.
Saints and Bengals.
Saints coming off a huge win against the formerly undefeated Los Angeles Rams. Now they are facing a relatively good team still in the Cincinnati Bengals, who are still fighting for a spot in the AFC North playoff picture.
I have a fun fact for you. This is the only game of the weekend that has two teams over 500.
Okay.
That's kind of crappy.
That is kind of crappy.
I mean, other than yesterday's game, of course. So what do you see in this game? What do you see happening?
Well,
Saints obviously are on a roll.
Saints are averaging 34.9 points per game, and that's absurd. So I'm going to go Saints win this game 31-27.
Yeah, I think some people might see this game as a trap game because the Saints just had a big game against the Rams.
So they're going to be on a lull. They're on a hangover.
Yeah, like maybe they're feeling themselves a little bit too hard this week. You know how sometimes that happens to teams where they come off a big win and then they lose to a lesser opponent. Well, I don't see that happening.
Well, this team isn't really a lesser opponent.
I mean, the Bengals are obviously a lesser team than the Rams,
but they're not like a slouch.
Sometimes teams get really high for games, though, like last week, and then they could fall.
This isn't the Bengals from the 90s who barely won any
Maybe
games.
they are. Marvin Lewis still hasn't won a playoff game. But I have the Saints winning, too. I'm not sure what to think about this game. I could see it being a blowout, but somehow, some way, I have a sneaky feeling that it might be a little closer than expected. But still, I think the Saints will win by about a touchdown. I'll say they win 34-27.
34-27? Okay.
Yeah, because they're on the road. If they were at home, I think it would be a blowout. But
fair.
What game? Okay, so you just picked that game.
Yeah.
So I'll go Falcons-Browns. I'll go to one of the least interesting games of the day, I think. Falcons at 4-4. They've been cruising. Cleveland, they got roughed up by the Chiefs last week. What do you say? What do you see in this game?
I see destruction. No, I see the Falcons taking this. The Browns just with Greg Williams as their interim head coach. It just doesn't look like this team can win a game with him. I think this is another rebuilding period, sadly again for them. So if I had to make a choice, I would pick the Falcons winning this one by a score of, you know what? Let's go this. I'm going to go 38-14.
38-14, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I can see that. I think you might be surprised.
Please surprise
me. I have the
me.
Browns upsetting in this game. I'm taking the Browns. Call me an idiot if you want.
No, I'm good. I think your wife's going to call you that when you get home.
I got the Browns winning this game 27-24. I'm not confident in this at all. I think I just talked myself out of it while I've been talking, but I don't know. There's got to be upsets in the NFL. The Browns are at home. The Falcons just won on the road. I don't know if they're going to do it back-to-back games. Again, we could be seeing a letdown game. Maybe they will underestimate the Browns. And the Browns, I thought, did some good things last week in a losing effort. So we'll see. I'm probably going to be terribly wrong, and the Falcons will probably win by 3 touchdowns. But that's what I'm going with. So,
well, we always have to go with some against the odds type picks.
All right, what's the next game?
And speaking of against the odds picks, let's go to Cardinals and Chiefs.
Okay.
Do I think the Cardinals are going to win this? No, but it'd be nice to see them win.
Okay.
based off the ESPN's Football Power Index matchup predictor, the Chiefs have a 93.9% chance of winning this game.
They're favored by 17 points, which I'm pretty sure is the biggest spread that we've seen this season.
And I would agree with that spread, to be honest.
So you think the Chiefs will win by what's the score going to be?
Give me 21-3.
Only 21, huh?
Nah, change that. It's going to be 3 for the Cardinals, but give me 28.
28-3. I see the Chiefs winning by a score of 38-13.
Wow, 13.
Yeah. Maybe Chiefs will give up a garbage time touchdown, or something like that. All right, so let's move on.
Who's going to throw that touchdown?
Rosen. Interesting game that I'm looking forward to this weekend is the Jaguars and the Colts. So let's go there. Jacksonville at Indianapolis. Jacksonville's 3-5. So are the Colts. I will say it right now. This is probably both teams are done, but this is definitely an
What a
elimination
disappointing
game.
season for the Jaguars. Arguably a team that was favored to win the AFC and go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I will
And
say
not even in the they're not maybe not even in the playoff conversation anymore.
if they lose this game, they're in last in their division. So
That's incredible. What a drop. How much can a team drop? Maybe they should move to London.
So I actually have the Colts winning this game. I think the Colts have been playing pretty good football, and they're at home. I trust Andrew Luck a lot more than I trust Blake Bortles. And yes, the Jacksonville Jaguars have a great defense, but the Colts defense is good enough to win this game. So I have the Colts winning. I have a score of 24-13. What about you? Who do you have winning?
24-13.
Colts, yes.
Okay. The Jags have to win this game. I think they're going to win this game. I'm going to go Jaguars win this one 24-13.
So the same score as me.
I just realized it was your score as soon as I said it.
It's all good. It doesn't matter at all. So let's move on to the next game. Who do you have?
Let's go to the Patriots and Titans.
Okay, let's do it.
Do you remember not too long ago, maybe like 10 years ago, this game was, or 2009, it was 59-0. I don't see this game going 59-0, but I do see the Patriots winning this one by a score of 42-21.
42-21. Wow, that's a lot of points. That would be a fun game to watch.
Cross your fingers.
I also like the Patriots in this game. I can't see the Titans winning, even though they won against the Cowboys. I still think that
was the Cowboys.
Yeah, I still think that the Titans leave a lot to be desired. I don't know if Mariota is a good quarterback. One team has Brady, the other has a quarterback that I'm not sure is decent. Deion Lewis playing against his former team is interesting. The Titans' defense is pretty good, so I think it won't be a blowout. But I think the Patriots will win this game. I have a score of 31-20. So let's move on. Let's see here. What do we got on the slate? Redskins, Buccaneers. The Washington Redskins coming off that big loss to the Atlanta Falcons. They head on the road to face Tampa Bay, who lost to the Panthers but really came back in that second half, made it interesting. Could be some points in this game. Tampa Bay, we all know, they can score points, but they give up even more points. The Redskins have a couple minor injuries here and there. They have some players that may not play. You might be surprised by this, Jeff, but I have the Bucs winning. I have the Bucs winning in an upset.
Milwaukee Bucks?
Yeah, it's,
Giannis throwing for 2 touchdowns?
maybe in my brain I saw what Milwaukee Bucks did last night. It makes me think Bucks, like good, Bucks good, like caveman. Anyways, I got the Bucks winning this game in an upset. I think the Redskins are just an overrated football team. I don't think that they're as good as their record says they are, and I don't think they're going to make the playoffs.
Wow, that's kind of a broad statement.
I don't think so.
You're saying the Redskins will not make the playoffs?
I do not think the Redskins will make the playoffs. I think it starts this week as they lose to the Bucks. I have a score of 38-31 that they lose to the Bucks. Who do you have in this game?
Give me the Washington Redskins.
You want the
and
Redskins?
I don't see it this high scoring, but I see it as a score of 31-21. because
31-21.
I see a lot of yards for Fitzpatrick, but I see the Redskins just being better.
Okay. All right. So how about we head out west in what used to be a fun rivalry game, but I don't think the Raiders. I don't think the Raiders play any fun games anymore.
Especially that loss to the 49ers really put them in a really.
And they have cut Bruce Irvin in the last week, which is very interesting. So
maybe they should cut John Gruden. Oh,
Chargers at Oakland.
Can you imagine if he got fired in the first season?
Chargers are playing really good football right now. They just won on the road in Seattle. If they win on the road in Seattle, I don't see how they lose on the road in Oakland. The Raiders are just reeling right now. They're not playing well. It seems like the players are not playing for their coach. A lot of turmoil is going on there. I see the Chargers winning, and I see them winning big. I don't know if you agree with me, but I have the Chargers winning this game.
I disagree. What am I disagreeing on?
I have the Chargers winning this game by a score of 42.
Why would I disagree with that?
42-17 on the road.
You give them 17 points?
Yeah. What do you see the score will be? Or do you think the Chargers will win?
Oh, yeah. Give me 35-6.
35-6.
You're giving the Raiders way too much credit on this one. They scored only 3 points on
They're
not a very good defense.
professional football team. I think they'll score at least one touchdown.
No, I feel like there's going to be a streak of no touchdowns.
All right, so what's the next game you want to talk about?
I want to talk about...
We got 3 more. We got Dolphins, Packers, Seahawks, Rams,
I know
Cowboys,
what the
Eagles.
games are. You didn't let me finish. Oh, okay. Well, I got the Seahawks and Rams.
Mm-hmm.
And let's go Rams. They're going to bounce back from this win. So I'm gonna go to Rams win this one 28-21.
Rams 28-21 over Seattle. Okay. Yeah, Rams are at home. I will also say that the Rams are going to win. I think they bounce back. I think the last week against the Saints kind of will reshift their focus as they look back at that game and realize...
This proves if they're that good, or is this just a fluke type of thing?
The Rams always play Russell Wilson very tough. I do see that they'll win this game. The last time these two teams played, it was very close. I got the Rams winning this game.
I think it was uncomfortably close to the Rams, too.
Mm-hmm. I got Rams winning this game 31-24. But I think we need to take a quick break, and then we need to come back because we have only done 2 breaks.
Well, okay, sure, we can do another break.
Yes.
But then we'll finish up with the last 2 games.
We got 2 more games.
And then we'll be done. All right, we'll be right back after this.
Are you looking for help for your fantasy football team? Check out the GSMC Fantasy Football Podcast. Get today's best advice on who to start, who to sit, even who you should draft. From sleeper picks to red hot lineups, they got it all covered for you. That's GSMCpodcast.com/fantasy-football-podcast. We'll cover traditional leagues, dynasty, PPR, even IDP leagues. When you need fantasy help, there's just one show to hit up. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
And welcome back to the GSMC Sports Podcast. We're on the final stretch of our Week 10 matchups. We have 2 more games to go. Let's go to the weakest one and then the nicest one. We got Dolphins and Packers.
Mm-hmm.
Brock Osweiler versus Aaron Rodgers, the matchup of the century.
Uh-huh.
Who do you have in this one?
Green Bay's at home. I'm taking them. I'm not taking Brock Osweiler to win this game.
Wow, you're your biggest supporter, Brock, and he's not picking you.
It's not Brocktober anymore. So
it's Brockvember.
Yeah, doesn't have the same feel, right? Just like the Dolphins don't have the same feel as Green Bay in this game. I got the Packers
the Dolphins
winning.
are 3-1 in the last 4. 1-3, in the last 4 games. The last win was against the Chicago Bears. They've lost to Houston, Detroit, and now in Cincinnati. So I'm going to go with the Dolphins and make a comeback on this one. I know how badly the Packers have been playing, so I'm going to go with the Dolphins winning this game by a score of 17-14.
Wow. I have Green Bay 27-17. We got one more game left. Who is it?
Eagles and Cowboys.
Oh, Sunday Night Football.
A game that should be a little more competitive than I thought it was going to be by this time. But I have the Eagles winning this one in a very kind of boring game, in my opinion. It's going to be 13-7.
Really?
Remember the last time these two teams played?
You said Eagles are going to win 13-7?
Yeah. Remember in the week 17 last year?
Yeah, but they sat all their players, right? The Eagles sat all their players.
I don't care. It was boring. This game's going to be the same. 13-7.
I got the Eagles winning. You got 13-7. I think there'll be more points for sure in this game. I think the Eagles will win by a score of 30-24. Eagles win at home Sunday Night Football. We are done with our picks of the week.
Whew, and that should do it for us today on the Sports Podcast. Please tune in on a Monday when we see the results of those games, and we'll preview the Monday Night Football matchup between the New York Giants and the San Francisco 49ers.
It seems like that's actually the perfect matchup.
How do the 49ers have back-to-back primetime games?
I think that matchup, if you think about it, it might not be the most exciting, but for this week, in a week where there's so many teams with losing records playing each other, it makes sense that a game on Monday Night Football will be the losingest game of the week.
The losingest game? Yeah, that's a word.
The losingest
We're going to end off
game.
with a non-word, so we'll see you in the Flex Start.
Don't have a losingest weekend, guys. Have fun this weekend. Enjoy the games.
Be
Take
a win
care.
area.
Yes.
Be in a win area. Have fun, everybody.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.